To everybody in the audience that's here participating and watching my speech.
How about all of you?
That's good enough. They look good. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. My name is Thomas Martin, okay? And I'm an IT student here in college. Now, the speech that I'm doing on is the legalization of marijuana. Now, not because I'm a big believer in smoking marijuana, okay? But because the national debt is getting higher and higher and higher and higher, and you have so many financial experts not coming up with any good ideas. People want to raise taxes to the rich. They want to lower taxes for the poor, but they still want us to go to school. They want to cut school grants. There's so many things you read in the newspaper about being done. The war on drugs is in full effect. And if you watch the news, when you come to the checkpoints in Mexico, the dogs, they're out. Every car gets searched. It's big time coming through. And it's not stopping. It's going to continue to grow. I mean, there was a financial expert that decided to create, I think his idea was to create $1 trillion coin. His name is Beowulf. He's a Georgia attorney. Okay? And in the New York Times, New York Wall Street Journal, 2009 article, he decided to come up with $1 trillion platinum coin that's worth 1 ounce. It's a commemorative coin. How many people are going to run out and buy that? Spend $1 trillion 1 ounce? I mean, it's bad. And Congress is really considering this. But if you do your research now, with rising taxes, the lack of medical care, we have the Obamacare coming up now that we need to come up money for, and overcrowded prisons that are overcrowded. It's terrible. The economy's bad. It's getting worse and worse every day. That's why we're all sitting here in school trying to get some good jobs that are needed. Like I said, the answer is very simple. All we have to do is legalize marijuana. And it'll cure a lot of that problem. It'll alleviate, it'll generate a lot of money, and it'll alleviate a lot of these problems. It can help fix the health care. It's going to reduce crime, okay, because all those, every 45 seconds a day, a person is arrested for a marijuana offense.
45 seconds.
Every 45 seconds. So then he's booked, he's taken to jail, somebody has to book him, somebody has to transport him. So it's terrible. I mean, there's a lot of things we can do. Farmers in this country are paid, I'm sure a lot of you know, not to grow crops. In a 2005 Washington Post article, we paid $72 billion to farmers not to grow crops. Now this idea goes back, the crop idea goes back to like in the 30s when, you know, people invested a lot of money for seed and, you know, equipment. And by the time they went to the store to sell their crops, so they wouldn't go broke and under, they were guaranteed a price. So the government started subsidizing. Well, like any subsidization, it's getting out of hand. And it's getting worse and worse and worse. Okay? Not only, like I said, we're going to have a lot more jobs because not only is people smoke pot, but as we know, marijuana, cannabis, can be used as hemp, and hemp can be used to make rope, clothing. Okay, it also can be used as far as people we know as medications, people that are nauseous, glaucoma, it relieves the pressure on people's eyes, and it also, like I said, it even makes paper. So every part of the plant can be used. The current profits, right now, there's only a few states that have medical use, and 2 states have just legalized it, decriminalized it. Well, those 2 states aren't in this study because we haven't got any feedback yet from them. But because of the states that have it for medical use right now, cannabis, marijuana, is the #1 crop profit in America. More than wheat and more than corn. it makes right now, currently. And that's according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. I have some sources here I have to remember to use. If it's predicted right now on a website called Legalizing Marijuana, it's predicted right now that if we federally legalize marijuana, the profits would be $100 billion a year. I mean, our national debt, I mean, it could chew it down. I don't know what it is, it's in the trillions, but is it 2 trillion now, or whatever? But at least, it's not going to solve everything, but at least it can lower it, okay? We can get money, can go to school, we can afford health care. How many, I know my grandmother, okay, is very limited on what she can buy for food and her medicine. And I'm sure there's a lot of families like that here in America. It's tough. It's tough. I drive from Gaucher to here. It cost me $40 to fill up my car. I mean, it's ridiculous. I have a little Elantra. It's terrible. You know, and one of the detriments that people say of legalizing marijuana is, all right, we legalize marijuana, it's going to lead to harder drugs, worse drugs. It's a gateway. Well, first of all, we know that alcohol and tobacco are way worse than marijuana. That's first of all. Second of all, people can go right now to any pharmacy in America and buy heroin. Heroin is legal in America. You just don't think of the word heroin, you think of the words Oxycontin, or you think of the word Dilaudid, which is all synthetic heroin. All you have to do is go to a doctor, get a prescription for that, and now you're hooked on these drugs, and you become worse and worse and worse, and need more and need more and need more, and then you have problems when you don't want to use it anymore, or you try to get off. It takes you years and years, and people still to this day never come off, and they're still hooked till the day they die. And like I told you earlier, the prisons are overcrowded like crazy. We're letting people go probably that shouldn't be going, and we're locking up people for a simple marijuana offense. I mean, let's say, let me go to the pharmacy. You think, well, let me get some heroin or let me have a joint, which is worse? I mean, it's pretty obvious. I mean, it's obvious. And I ask myself, I say, you know, why is this done? First of all, people, drug addiction and leading to harder drugs is from lack of education, okay? People need to be educated about all drugs. I mean, we know even aspirin kills. Tylenol is very bad for you, you know. But we're not educated here about drugs. If I'm a pharmaceutical company, you think I want marijuana legalized? Well, of course not. Of course not. I want people to be hooked on these painkillers and stuff, so I know every week, every month, I mean, and we all have friends. I have several friends that I have to say that they wait until that day of the month where they get their refill, and it's like a kid on Christmas time. It's bad. It's bad. You know, and we can all get away from this. But the alcohol people, the tobacco lobbyists, all do not want us to have that, of course, because they want us to be hooked. Tobacco was, they said for years, tobacco's not addicting, not addicting. Tobacco's addicting, okay? It's very hard to get off. I've never smoked, but I can imagine. I've seen a lot of people that have it. It's terrible to get off. I mean, look, they make patches and everything like that. It's terrible. But these companies, America's about the rich. And I'm not knocking America. I love this country. I fought for this country, okay? I'm sure many of us have or will or haven't. But, you know, we do have a lot of faults in this country. And it's hard for the small man to change because no matter, it seems like who we elect, and I'm not blaming presidents, but it's their they're not really getting elected. It's that rich person with all the money is backing that person. So, and he's backing him, and he's investing. You invest money not to lose money. You invest money to gain money. Okay? And that's what's happening in America. No matter who's in charge, it's all going on. But we are making improvements, and we do have 2 states so far that have said, okay, feds, go ahead. We're not going to listen to you. We're going to try it. So let's say hopefully it catch on. And I'm afraid to say that I think the southern states will be the last to catch on. But hopefully we will. I saw an interview the other day with Jimmy Carter. And Jimmy Carter actually said he believes in the legalization of marijuana. He did. He said, I don't think Georgia's going to see it anytime soon, but we will have it. But I will tell you that Portugal, as we know, or maybe we don't know, has legalized all drugs, decriminalized all drugs for the past, I think it's 12 years now. 2011 was the 10-year anniversary. And not only has all drugs, the abuse of drugs has gone down 50%. 50%. They couldn't stop it. People were smoking crack in the streets. They didn't have any tourism. It was destroying the country. And they decriminalized it. They used that money for education. And if people do have a problem, they're addicted, they can go into rehabs and stuff like that. And also, I do believe that there is some kind of criminal act, too, that if you're caught selling like to minors and things like that, that you either have a choice to where you can either go to prison or you can go to a rehab education. So, I mean, it does work. I'm not saying that I'm for legalization of all drugs, okay? But it just seems like right now you can get pretty much any drug in America except marijuana. And the last thing I want to say is a lot of people say, well, the old people will never go for it. They'll never, never, never go for it. Forget about right now, the old people are from the 70s and 60s now, pretty much. And according to a survey from AARP, 72% of the elderly were all for legalizing marijuana. So I just want to conclude with that. Like I said, my name is Thomas Martin. I appreciate your attention. I hope you learned a little bit about something today. If not, hopefully, if you can vote for congressmen, because I would love to pay. You know, we have soldiers dying every day in Iraq and stuff, and we're paying $4 a gallon for gas. That's ridiculous. We spend $30 billion a year over there. But I'm getting off the subject. I'm sorry. But thank you guys for listening to me. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.